Welcome, everyone. Welcome to the Matter of the Heart, where we always try to bring you heartfelt, encouraging, educational stories, all to elevate your spirit. I am your host, Carol Olivia, and I'm always so glad that you take the time out to listen to the Matter of the Heart. William Shakespeare, listeners, once said, "The eyes are the windows to your soul. Can the soul of the eye speak to you in its own mysterious way? And sometimes do we take our eyes for granted until we go to a doctor? And then when that occurs, do we go to a traditional optometrist or a doctor that specializes in holistic eye care? Or do we do both? And with that, we're going to combine in this show, which is so fascinating, dolphin-assisted therapy, which contributes to the healing process of our eyes. Dr. Sam Berne is the guest for the show, The Matter of the Heart. And Dr. Berne has been a holistic eye care practitioner in Santa Fe, New Mexico for over 30 years. Am I correct with that, Dr. Berne?
Yes, you are, Carol. You have your facts.
Dr. Berne treats the body as one integrated system, one, ladies and gentlemen, using a diverse variety of disciplines: vision therapy, child development, nutrition, traumatic brain injury, somatic continuum movement, essential oils, cranial sacred therapy, and dolphin-assisted therapy, which we're going to delve into in a little bit. Dr. Sam Berne is also an internationally known author. He is a researcher as well as a teacher, and I hope I didn't miss anything, Dr. Berne. I'm curious. I find it fascinating, dolphins, and I can't help but see a dolphin and a child, the image of a child and a dolphin, giving the child a lot of joy. Mm-hmm. So if you could just go into a little bit why you chose dolphins, which is so fascinating, and how it helps to heal. It's just still beautiful.
Well, this goes back several years in my work with trauma patients. And back in 2007, I was called to bring a group of traumatic brain injury patients to the Bahamas. And in the Bahamas, my staff and I, we worked on these patients every day, and then we would go out and we would interact with the wild dolphins off the coast of the Bahamas. And we found a couple of things. That first of all, when we were in the water with the dolphins, they produced a sonar, a sound, and they would actually scan these patients because a lot of them had some heavy wounds, not just physical, but emotional, spiritual. And so the sonar combined with the energy that they produce allowed us to do our work with the patients, and we had phenomenal improvements within that week. And so that awakened me to the healing power of nature and the healing power of these amazing beings. And I'll talk about in a minute a research study that I did, and I presented at a international conference in 2009. But I thought I'd let the audience exhale for a minute and see if you have any questions before I share this research on the dolphin-assisted therapy.
Well, I'm curious. What you said you helped? What did you use? I mean, you have so many different modalities. What were some of the techniques that you used?
We actually put the patients in the water, and we had different flotation devices that they were floating on. And we had one gentleman who had actually been shot down in the Vietnam War, and he had been in the water away from his plane for over 24 hours before he was found. Now, fast forward, he was on my dolphin retreat, and he was afraid to get in the water. So my staff and I, we went in the water with him. All the other participants were around. And while he was floating on these devices, the dolphins just came around him and he started crying. He just went into this amazing PTSD reaction. And he shared that night at the circle, being with those dolphins, helped him heal the fear and the trauma of being abandoned when his plane was shot down. We had another lady who had a spinal cord injury, and she could barely get into the water. And after interacting with the dolphins in our craniosacral therapy in the water, she was able to actually pull herself up on the boat. And she emailed me afterwards. She was from New Jersey, and she could walk again. She could see again. And so we had so many of those kinds of cases. People that were not helped by conventional medicine would enter this energy field, combining what we were doing with the dolphins. And these were wild dolphins, so these were not captive dolphins. The wild dolphins have a very different energy field, and they're here to help us heal. And with the vibration that they were promoting, people were able to regain wholeness and harmony.
That's beautiful. So I can't help but think, when you look at a dolphin, and I was going to ask you that before, the vibration, what are you feeling from the essence of a dolphin? Are they here to heal us? What do you feel the signs are, Dr. Berne?
Well, I think they're interdimensional beings, and we have to understand that, we have the visible 3D reality, but there's so much more than the material world. And what the dolphins bring us, first of all, is the invitation to move into an interdimensional state outside of time-space. And whenever we move out of the normal dimensional time-space, we have the opportunity to reverse physiological damage and disease processes. And so there's that invitation on the dimensional level. They're also very heart-centered, and if they want to be with us, they will show us about play, they will show us about love, they will show us about compassion, they will show us about community, that their dolphin pod comes together with our human pod, and it creates such a coherent field of healing that all the disharmony, all the dissonance that we human beings bring to the world through our mental processes, the fears, the abuses, all those things, say, no, we can live in a coherent field of consciousness, and we step into that vortex, and we find that all of our emotional, spiritual baggage, there's a detoxification, and we get renewed, rejuvenated. And when we combine that with things like meditation, some of the plant medicines that we do, movement, color therapy, a lot of the vibrational healing, it anchors in the experience of being in the field of the dolphins. When you get in the water with them, you realize you are in a different interdimensional state. You are not in your regular fetch wood, carry water. One other point I want to make, when we go into the water, it's almost as though we return to the womb. And I've seen a lot of people do rebirthing. Their birth gets repatterned, that people have a real fear of going into the ocean. And so I support them in coming back to the mother, the great mother. And so it heals all those birth traumas. And in doing that, they become free of those pre-verbal imprints that have been running their life, and they react, and they don't know why they're reacting. It goes back to that birth trauma.
That's fascinating. And when you said a community, dolphins, in other words, they swim with others, or is it one on,
Well, usually what happens is dolphins they travel together in pods, sometimes really large pods. Now in Hawaii, we swim off the coast of Kona, the big island, and it's actually a wild sanctuary. And so we will look for the dolphins. We go out on our boat on a daily basis, and usually one of the boat captains will say, pod of dolphins up north or down south. So we will travel there, and then we ask for an invitation. And if they want to be with us, they will, and then we slowly get into the water with them. Now, the thing you don't want to do is be aggressive with them. You don't want to touch them, and you don't want to swim aggressively towards them because they'll think that you're just playing with them. So you get in the water and you just kind of be in a receptive state. And then what happens is they'll slow down. And I've had experiences where dolphins have been this close to me, eye to eye. And there's always a transmission. They're communicating. I've had such amazing intercommunications with them because they're working in a telepathic way. And if you're open to that level of communication, they have given me incredible guidance. And, I've got experienced people who've been helped by communicating with them telepathically. Anyway, we can swim with them anywhere between a minute and an hour and 30 minutes. It just depends on the day and what kind of mood they're in, what they're interested in. And we just play with them. We spiral, we wave with them. We're moving in the water. And whenever we make spiral movements, this actually creates more spiral energy in our own fluid body. So we're stirring our dynamic fluid. And, one of the things I see in aging is that our fluid begins to dry out. And this is the cause of many diseases. So when we swim with the dolphins, we're doing our somatic continuum movement, which is this process I teach, which is combining sound, undulating movements, and different breathing practices. And in doing that, we regain our vitality, our wellness. And it makes us more broadband in our world, which is what we need right now based on the environmental changes, the climate change, the political landscape, all these things. We need to raise our vibration so that we can handle the next phase of being on planet Earth.
So what I'm picking up, one of the aspects of a dolphin, Dr. Berne enlists, is their gentleness. And I guess gentleness could be a great healing element for anybody, especially the human race, kindness and gentleness.
Sometimes the dolphins are so generous in their energy and their time. But I would also say they can be fierce in that they're going to show you an athletic agility, or they're going to show you, this is how I would say it, the word is adaptogenic. And what that means is the dolphins are going to give you exactly what you need to give you a deeper sense of balance. And you're right, some people need gentleness. Other people need playfulness. Other people need compassion. I had a woman who had lost her brother in a suicide. And she was on our trip, and I couldn't believe this. She gets in the water, and these 6 dolphins are surrounding her. Now, she's in major grief because her brother shot himself. And I couldn't believe over 40 minutes, they were just swimming with her. And when she got out of the water, she was crying. And she said, they have really helped me move forward in understanding why my brother did what he did. And so they give you what you need, and it's magical. And it's another dimensional state. I have a hard time explaining it to people. They have to kind of get it on a level to really understand what I'm talking about.
So do you think they're connecting to, I know you said they're heart-centered. Do you think they're connecting with their highest form of intuition that we might not even know what that is with their energy?
Well, most definitely there's an intuitive psychic knowing that they can bring to us. And they're very connected to the, how can we say, the off-planet beings, the cosmic beings. There are many times when I've been out on the water with them, and we'll see orbs, we'll see UFOs, we'll see, off-planet beings. And in our meditations, they are the bridge to another world. And I might also add that the whales are part of this equation. And in my upcoming retreat in January, one of the reasons why I'm doing it in January is because the whales and dolphins together can create such a synergy for healing that they're bringing a whole other energetic. They're the humpbacks that migrate down from Alaska, and they spend the winter in Hawaii, and their whale song is amazing. Now, the law is we can't get in the water with the whales in the United States. We're not allowed to do that. With the dolphins, we are. But a lot of times, the whales and dolphins can be nearby, and if we're in the water with the dolphins, the whales come over, we're okay, we can do that. But the whales offer a very deep, ancient transmission of healing, whereas the dolphins are more of the playful teenager, adolescent. So you get both of them in the same cup of tea, and it's pretty exquisite. And you get out of the water and you go, this is life changing. I just want to share briefly. In 2009, I bought a Kirlian type camera. Right. Kirlian camera, some people have heard of that. It's actually called a gas discharge visualization camera. And it measures energy fields, chakras, and acupuncture meridians. It was invented by a biophysicist, Konstantin Korotkov. And I used the camera to measure people's energy fields and chakras before and after each dolphin swim. Oh. And it was amazing over the 4 days. The first day, the energy fields were much worse, much more chaotic, because people were in a breakup stage. They weren't able to keep the same energy because the dolphins were saying, look, you can't keep operating like this. But by the 4th day, the energy fields were so much more robust, coherent. I took the research from 2 years of study of data to a meeting in St. Petersburg, Russia, with 200 scientists from around the world who were very left-brained. And I presented this dolphin research. There wasn't a dry eye in the house. They gave me a standing ovation saying, I am blending the spiritual with the science, that both of them need to come together. And yes, the dolphins do impact our energy fields. And it was great to be able to quantify that. So it was an amazing, exciting experience.
Oh, that's beautiful. And I know you said you went to St. Petersburg, Russia. I think it was originated in Russia.
That is correct. Konstantin Korotkov, who's a university professor there, exactly. I think he developed that camera in 1995. A lot of practitioners are using it in the US. And I've done a lot of research measuring our biofield, and how it affects our physical vision. But yeah, it's a great way to see disease way before it starts in the physical body, and how you can change those imprints of the field. And not only the local field, but the global field, the non-local field.
Well, that's fascinating. I mean, that opens up many doors for getting to the root, I would think.
It gets to the root, and because our energy fields are so dynamic, for example, on one of the retreats, somebody's chakras, instead of being down the middle, they were off on the right side. And this was a person who had been diagnosed with cancer, who was in remission, and she shared with me that she is not in her feminine at all, that she's just in a state of trauma from this cancer. And after the dolphin swims, we measured her chakras right down the middle, lined up again. And so we feel that the dolphin swims, along with our energy work, helped her rebalance her chakras. And now she's doing great, cancer-free, very happy, very engaged. And that was 5 years ago. So we get to quantify what's going on in the field using the camera, and then the dolphins can treat the problem. That's kind of how it is. It's fabulous.
So I'm picking up, so the dolphins maybe, and you and give me your insight, of course, are naturally aligned with themselves, body, mind, and spirit. in a balanced way. So their energy must be very balanced, because you mentioned before compassion and joy, all the human qualities. So they're maintaining that. They haven't been distracted.
Well, I'll tell you, they are stressed, with climate change and the temperatures in the water increasing, and, the military doing exercises, in the oceans. They definitely are having to adapt. And one of the things I love about the dolphins is that they carry this energy called the I am. The I am is that if they want to be with us, they're going to be with us. And if they don't want to be with us, we kind of say they're on a mission. And there are days when we go out that we don't interact with them very much, because they're on another plan. And I feel some of the things that they're doing, they're working cosmically and planetarily to try to bring things back into balance for mankind. There are other days where they're incredibly generous and they just hang out with us. And they've got so much going on in their own community, in their own pod, that they pick up when people are in disharmony. I'll give you another example. There was a man on one of my retreats. The dolphins never ever do this, but this dolphin actually came up to this man and he hit him with his fin right on his chest, like that. He kept doing it. And so when we got back on the boat, I said to the participant, you need to go home and you need to get a chest x-ray. Something's going on here. And he did, and they found a tumor in his lung. And he had surgery and it ended up being benign. He did a lot of things to neutralize the possible cancer effects, but it was the dolphin that actually picked up on that. And we get those every year that we take people out there, that they will scan you and tell you what you need to do and what's going on. So they're great helpers. When I work with them, I consider them the facilitators, and I'm just kind of the chaperone. And we also have a great staff of people. The boat captain, some of my boat staff, I've been with them for years. They are incredible at connecting with the dolphins, and they help people in the relating, in the introducing. Because a lot of times people are really afraid when they get in the water the first time. And these people are just amazing at getting people over to the dolphins and getting them to interact. So this is a team effort. And I was just received a calling that this is part of what I need to do in my mission. And so I'm following orders.
So with the wisdom of this, Dr. Berne, what type of, or what more research could be done, or helping, or healing, or what, because there's so many facets to this. And also, where are dolphins? In other words, if somebody's in the East Coast or the Southwest,
Yeah. Well, probably, one of the places that I used to go is on the coast of California, down the coast. Now, it's not a place where you're going to swim with them, but certainly you can be on the boat and have a trend from them as well. Mexico, the Caribbean, obviously the Eastern Caribbean where the Bahamas are. But my parents used to live in Hilton Head, South Carolina, and we used to see pods of dolphins as we walked along the beach. So I think that, with the interactions, it's very important that we understand that the wild dolphins, in my opinion, are the ones that you want to interact with. I don't like the captive dolphins because I believe they lose some of their sonar ability, and there's a little difference in their energy patterns. I know in the coast of in Florida, around Key Largo and some of those places, they actually have institutes that work with the children and autism. And I've had a few special needs kids on my boats, and I'm actually considering taking a group of autistic kids to Hawaii. I work at a place called Kid Power, which is in Albuquerque, New Mexico, and I consult there. This is an institute that works exclusively with special needs kids, and I actually bring the dolphin energy to those kids every month that I go there and work with them. And I think that working with those kids, the dolphins, they speak their language and they understand. They give them permission to be unique and different and not have to fit into the allopathic model that's being placed on a lot of those kids. And my role is to invite them to come out of the restrictions and the limitations that society and allopathic medicine has put them in. And I believe that the dolphin therapy would take them to another level about healing through vibration and frequency. And I think they would be really adept at doing that. And that's one of my goals, is to bring groups to Hawaii and do that. And if we can get the funding, that would be the way to go, because a lot of these families, can't afford it. But that's one of my dreams, to be able to do that.
That's beautiful. Sound, you're saying a sound type of healing for the, yes, because I used to teach a while ago, and I know that, and I taught autistic children, and I could see when I was speaking in a very soft and gentle way, their eyes would open up, because of the sound. So I think
sound is one of the best healers, because it penetrates our mental defenses, and the waveform actually comes into our body, and it's adaptogenic as well. So it's going to go to those areas that are compressed, that were defended, were trauma. And in the somatic movement that I do, continuum movement, we actually make different sounds that can stimulate bone function. The immune system can lateralize our tissue. So using different sounds, and I like making the sounds, because when you make the sound, it's more organic. However, there are things like tuning forks and, bowls, for sound healing and sound baths. So I think it's all, it's all valid. The thing with the dolphins is you hear their sonar very far away. Like, you don't even see them, but you're hearing and feeling the sound. And I tell participants, just stop, float in the water, and take the sound in. And then eventually they're swimming very deeply. It's almost like you're in a dream. They start to come to the surface.
Right.
And they have bubbles that they release, which have quantum energy. So we have the people run their head into the bubbles and they get this quantum energetic, or we play the leaf game with them. So we get these really big leaves from the trees in Hawaii, and we drop them in the water, and they will catch them with their fin and bring them to us if they want to play. They are so playful and so fun that, we just have a blast every time we get them.
Wow, fascinating. Well, this has been so educational, inspirational, and we could talk and listen to you for hours, for sure, because of your wealth of why.
Well, I just want to say my dolphin retreat is coming up January 24th to the 30th. Contact me at drsamberne.com if you're interested. We have a few spaces left, and it's an amazing, amazing retreat because it takes in the dolphins and whales, and of course the energy of Pele in Hawaii and all the other things we're doing.
Oh, that's beautiful. And where is it?
It's on the big island of Hawaii, so it's off the coast of Kona, and so you get to get out of the winter weather, except for you in Arizona, it's pretty nice also. Right. But you get into the subtropical, and it's a fabulous time to be able to interact in a very tight community of the people in the workshop. And the dolphins like that energy. We stay very close together when we're swimming, so that the dolphins go, oh, here's a human pod, we're going to join this human pod.
Maybe they like intimacy.
Yeah, they like intimacy, and they like coherence.
Right.
And they like it when you're out of your fear and out of the worry and anxiety. And, we've had times where the dolphins haven't been around, and we meditate on the boat together, and then the dolphins come. So we do a lot of...
Goodness, wow, unbelievable. Their intuition, their psychic ability. And oh, wow, that's amazing. Totally amazing.
Very much so.
Wow.
Yeah.
Thank you so very much, Dr. Sam Berne. He has a private practice in Santa Fe, New Mexico. We have learned so much, listeners, about dolphins, the beauty of dolphins, the spirituality of dolphins, and even the wisdom of dolphins, that they're on such a high vibration that they can teach us how to live a much more gentle, peaceful life with spirit as their core. Thanks so much, everybody. Thank you, Dr. Sandberg.
Carol, thanks for having me.